I am blessed and I am burdened with a great mission in life. A mission that has taken me 40 years to prepare for. Things of this nature cannot be established quickly. It is a gift to bring a whole new awareness into the world about the future and destiny of humanity. A gift from the divine, given to the angelic presence that oversees this world. Beautiful, magnificent, but challenging too. We'll be given an opportunity then to reestablish relationship with the source of our life, with those who have sent us into the world, relationship with ourselves, with each other, at a foundation that's entirely natural to who we are. Relationship beyond everything that limits us, everything that isolates us. Relationship. The new message from God is about relationship. Not just understanding, not just experiences, having experiences, but relationship. And I know this is important to you because most people in the world are inordinately interested in relationships. It's what they think about, what they talk about, what gives them joy, what gives them pain, what they work for, what they support. We're all about relationship, you see, because who we are, we've come from a place of complete relationship. It's our ancient home. So different than this world it is. And not just human beings, but a universe full of intelligent life. They too have come from our ancient home. Though they will be very different from us in appearance, attitude, and belief, perhaps. We carry this relationship with us already at a deeper level within us called knowledge. Because we live with two minds, you see. We have the worldly mind that has been conditioned within us since the day we were born. It contains all of our responses to the world and its persuasions upon us. It's shaped by culture, family, religion, perhaps. But deeper down, there's a very different kind of mind. This is God's great endowment. And at some point, if you were to take the steps to this knowledge, you would find out that it is actually who you are. It is the you before you came into this world. It will be the you after you leave. The part of you that has never left your source, that is still in relationship. Why a God of the universe can seem overwhelming and incomprehensible, and of course, at that level, God is. Completely. But relationship is something we feel, we yearn for, we know. The Lord of this vast creation speaks to the very heart of who we are. When we seek for it, when we need it, when we prepare for it. And sometimes that preparation requires that we really break free of the restraints that our former religious understanding may have placed upon us, or the pain we may have suffered there, to return again. This deeper knowledge holds the secret to who we are and why we're here, who we must meet, what we're here to accomplish. Things that the intellect cannot really discern, though it may try endlessly. It's beyond the mind we think with, but it is embedded in the mind that is our heart and our soul. So today I would like to speak of our relationship with God in a very elemental way. This is not complicated. You do not need to have a complex theory or theology to understand this. Because this is happening at the very foundation of our experience. What is important to understand here is that we have a relationship with God. This relationship is not based on belief, though belief may be our starting point. And for many people it is. It is not based on religious orientation, because our relationship with God existed before there were any religions. It is not based merely on point of view, but on a deeper resonance within us. The New Message teaching on relationships and higher purpose, one of its great texts, tells us that relationships with ourselves, with others, are based on what we can do together. Our relationship with God is based on what we can do with God. Now think about that, because this is really different. It's simple, but probably very different than what you may have been taught or learned before. Our goal in life is not to experience God or to transcend the world or to engage in ardent spiritual practice to experience the divine. Our relationship with God is based on what we're here to do. Because our world is not a place of being like our ancient home. It's a place of doing. It's a place of action. We've been sent here to do certain things. I'd like to read you a passage now from Relationships and Higher Purpose, from its first chapter entitled, Your Most Primary Relationship. Your home, your ancient home, is where you live. Still, part of you has never left. The world is where you work. You have come into the world to work. God has sent you, and you have sent yourself because there is the perfect knowledge that you need to be here. Perfect knowledge. Therefore, you have come from home to a place of work. The world. Your work in the world is in two arenas. One is the transformation of your experience of yourself and your relationships, and the other is rendering of your specific contribution to the world. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that our relationship with God is about what we came here to do. That is because God redeems us by giving us something important to do. Something we did not make up, or something that isn't just a product of our wishes or our preferences, or what we think will make us happy, or what the world tries to tell us will make us happy. God gives us something important to do. If we don't do it, there's no hell and damnation. We just have to come back and try again. It's not belief-based. A person who may have no notion of religion can be doing what they came here to do because of an innate sense of where to go and what to do in life. This gives us a different reference point to understand ourselves. We value things, we're in relationship with things that are meaningful to us because what we can do with them. A relationship with another person isn't just about being fascinated with their attributes or trying to use them as a resource. It's because you can do things together. The more you can do together, the deeper your relationship. Relationships require compatibility, purpose, and direction. But what makes a great relationship is doing great things together. Not just personal interest kinds of things, but meaningful things. Service to others, service to the world. In this sense, there really is no transcendence. Think of the life of Buddha, who experienced perhaps the peak experience of God that one can have in life. People call that enlightenment. So those who sent him into the world afterwards says, great, now we want you to teach. Must have been very disappointing for him. You wanted to hang out in that blissful, wonderful place, right? No, you need to go out and teach. 40 years. Walking. Teaching. It's what you do in this life that matters. Where you come from is a place of being. You need to have experiences of being while you're here, certainly. But it's what you do in life that matters. If you don't do what you came here to do, you will feel restless, frustrated, ill at ease with yourself, self-critical. All the things you see that are so common in people's experience and attitudes. What are you here to do? Only knowledge knows. It's a treasure you cannot open yourself. It has to be initiated by the higher powers. Because you're in coordination with those higher powers, you see. You can't use knowledge as a resource. That's not relationship. Relationship is about uniting to do something together. God has sent you to do something that needs to be done, that you can do. Very small task, but very specific, very important. Not just you personally, but perhaps to the larger scheme of things here. You don't need to understand the full meaning of what you're here to do. But you have to be in a place to respond to the movement of knowledge within you that wants to take you in that direction. And you go in that direction without an understanding of where it's taking you. You go because you must go. Compelled to go. Compelled from within. Not by another person, not by a religious institution, not by your parents, or your spouse. Something you know you must do. This is the beginning of a greater journey in life. What it will end up being and where it will take you and whom you will meet is something you can't see at the outset. That is why understanding is not the goal here. It's participation. The real understanding comes later. You get higher up this mountain, figuring the image is climbing a mountain, you can begin to see the lay of the land. And what could not be seen before now becomes evident. Without this, life is haphazard. There's no real purpose and direction to it. You can have 1,000 experiences. You can travel the world. And the primary engagement hasn't happened yet. God is about relationship. Who you are is about relationship. what you're a part of is relationship already. But in entering a life in physical existence, it has separated us from ourselves. The separation isn't just from God, it's within. So now the soul wanders in the universe, while the deeper part of you stays connected to its source. So what is the plan of God but to bring you back to that part of you that is still connected? And have that now become the directing force of your life. The Lord of countless galaxies is not going to manage your daily affairs. It's ridiculous. Do you think God is your errand boy? God, give me this. God, get me that. God, take care of this for me. People think like that. Like God is just sort of micromanaging them because they're so powerless they really can't deal with what they have to deal with. There's no spiritual welfare here. This is an engagement for a purpose. You have come for a purpose. It may not be what you want, but deep down you'll know it is true, and you really will want it. But people don't live deep down. They live at the surface of their mind, the turbulent surface, where life doesn't seem to have any real meaning or direction. Deep down are the deeper currents of your life. The new message gives us the analogy of the ocean. From the surface, looking over the side of the boat, where the ocean is going, how would you ever know? It's blown by the winds of the world. It's calm one day, turbulent the next day. It doesn't seem to have any direction, but deep down, there are deep currents carrying the waters of the world all over the planet, being impacted by celestial forces. So that analogy maybe perhaps can speak to you. Who you are is not your mind or your body. These are vehicles of communication that life has given you to be in the world. But your deeper purpose was something you brought with you, and it lives within you now. So think of God as your primary relationship. And where you will experience this primary relationship most powerfully, most consistently, is in your relationship with yourself, with others, and with the world. Spirituality, religion here is not about getting out of the world. It's about getting into the world with the purpose that has brought you here. The new message is interesting. In many different teachings, it talks about what happens after you leave this world. And it's a very similar scenario that gets described. You go back to those who sent you, and they look at you and they say, "Did you get it done?" And in that moment, you'll know exactly what they're talking about. Because it will seem as if it was moments before you were with them before you entered that life. Because that's being outside of time. And you will know what you can't know now, because when you leave this life, you won't have any beliefs. That's why belief is not the answer. Belief can help you. Belief can hinder you. But in the end, it's to take you to re-engage with knowledge within yourself and to begin to follow where knowledge wants to take you in life, which is a place of real meaning and purpose. Only this will really resolve your internal conflict, your issues with yourself, your restlessness, your disappointment, your ambivalence, your weakness. The new God experience is the return to who you are while you're here and those who sent you. It's a return to relationship. What lifts you out of separation, even while you live here? A return to relationship. Elemental. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Who you will meet in this life, the influences you'll have upon each other, the relationships you have today. They're either helping you go where you need to go, or they're standing in your way. With the exception of your children, who you are bound to support to a certain age. This stirring of your soul is telling you that the time has come. This restlessness deep inside, this feeling of just can't stand the shallowness, the superficiality of conversation and relationships. You're restless. Something else for you. You need to find it. The new God experience will prepare you and show you the way to go.